Okay. So last time we covered video. What I would like to share today to complete video is a certain ad type which we didn't see. So we saw this views. That's going to be more or less the same setup for up to here and audio and this. So the one that we didn't see is the ad sequence, which is different. The rest are the same in terms of process. So ad sequence is also the same in terms of setting your target and all of that. What changes is the ad. Remember, we said we have campaign, ad group, ad. So the ad level is where the change is. So you can see here, they have different options. Hope you can, yeah, and maybe increase it further. Yeah, you can see that we have different options of the sequence. Here, you let Google do for you the combination. Here, you start off with a long video, then this one, automatic sequence, as the name suggests. Google does the sequencing for you. This one, you start off with a long video and then continue with shorter videos to reinforce your message. This one, prompt and inspire, you start off, it's the flip side of the previous one, which you start off with a series of short videos, then the long video comes. Then this one, short video, then long video, then a call to action at the end. So we'll use a custom one because that gives us more.
So
Yes,
the first four don't have a call to action.
they do, but then the way the ad is optimized does not emphasize a lot the call to action. It emphasizes the completion of the sequence. Yeah. So we and then the key differentiator is the call to action on the first 1, 2, 3 is the other call to action thing we saw, but then this one, the attract and direct, the call to action is predominant on the final video because that's where now Google has, okay, from your sequence, people have seen you've created awareness, interest. Now you do a short video that is now a direct sale. Here you tell a brand story, product story, etc. But the steps are easy. Let me just open up a YouTube here. So let's say we are pulling this video. Step one, say add one. You are going to put your link. Oops. Let me just pull where is the video I opened? Let's click and open it. Let's say this one. Get this. Why is no videos found? Why isn't the video? Okay. So I've forgotten to mention something. We need a linked channel. Now, let me change to an account that I know has linked channels. Let's say we use which one? Let me check which one we can play with. Do this. Just confirm we have linked channels. I want to confirm the linked channels to this account, and then we try and.
It's a linked channel anyway, or it's members.
Sorry?
What's a linked channel?
So basically, what you do is you can link your YouTube channel, you can link your Google Analytics so that they start exchanging data.
So to
To do the ad sequence, you have to link, yes. Maybe I will also show you how to link. So basically, if you look at our data sources here, yeah, we have some 2 channels linked. So basically, this is how you link, because you may want to link the tools. You go to the tools, then you go to audience manager. So you can see you can link a couple of things. You can link Google Analytics, you can link a YouTube channel, you can link Google Play Store, etc. So for this channel, we've already linked these 2. Yeah. So it's basically your TV channels. Let me go to that account, or if I can just search for it here. Channels Uganda, because it was failing to pick the link. Just give it copy link address. So you see here, linking is simple. You just say new link under data manager. Then they tell you link channel or link video. Then you say link channel. And then after you select where that channel is, you just search for it here. You need to be an admin of that channel before you can link it. If you're not an admin, the request can be sent and then the admin confirms that request. So let's give it a shot again. The sequence with a linked channel. Create video sequence. You just confirm it's working. Custom sequence. Step 1. Yeah, you can see it's now working. So you notice we have 2 options here. We have skippable and non-skippable. Non-skippable needs to be under the 15 we looked at earlier. So you see, to answer your question that you asked, there is an option to add the URL for each of the videos. Let's say this is the URL. Where is the account? You remember, like we said earlier, the URL displayed can be just the primary domain. You can even have the call to action here. By primary domain, I see, if you look at this URL, this is the primary domain. These are the pages. This is the subdomain. So the display one can just be the primary domain. Hope I've not confused you. I have. So let's say this is the link. Domain is just basically the www stuff. So this is the full link. So the way websites work is if I know this is not part of ad buying, but just for the information, maybe. So the server where the files are hosted online for them to be available to anyone across the globe is like a hard disk on your computer. Let's say storage, let's say local disk, depending on what you use. So let's say you have your folder named fireworks. Then under there, you have a folder called maybe about. Then you have a subfolder under about that has leadership, team, you know. So this will be leadership. You have another folder called mission, etc. Now, what that stuff there means, this will be www.fireworks.com as an example, slash the folder. So it is slash about. Now remember, leadership, and these are two subfolders, subfolder 1, subfolder 2. Leadership and mission are subfolders under about. So it will be www.fireworks.com slash about slash leadership for the leadership folder. Then for the mission folder, slash about slash mission. If there are subfolders under there, it will be slash. So you've got the drift. So here, from this Airtel website, the main folder is airtel.co.ug. Then under there, they have a subfolder on the server called Airtel Money. Under Airtel Money, they have transaction fees. So that's really, so when I say primary domain, it is this, the where everything starts from. So in the Airtel case, it will just be this, airtel.co.ug. That is the primary domain. Yeah. So in the case of this link we are using to experiment, let's say this one. So you can see it has linkedin.com/account center/business manager. So the primary domain in this case is linkedin.com. That's what I was saying. That when you copy the final URL, the display URL, given that it shows here, needs to be shorter. So you just use only the primary domain. So even if the website, I mean the URL, the link is like 1,000 characters long, you paste it just here, and then under display URL, use the shortest link possible. Then the call to action could be sign up, let's say. Then here you're going to bid on CPM. So the key thing to note, for the other campaign we looked at last time, you're paying for views. Here you're paying for every 1,000 people that see, or CPM. So you need to be mindful. The disadvantage with that is if you are chasing a target for a certain number of views, you cannot control that if you're using CPM bidding, because you have a target for views, but you're paying for people who are seeing whether they viewed or not. So very critical to have that at the back of your mind. Let's say we use $1 here, and then you say add to sequence. So you can see step 1. Then step 2, we can now get another video. Let's say we start off with this and then a customer testimonial like this. So we paste it here. I'll not add the URL and all of that because they are already populated for us. What we can do, maybe here we can have a different call to action like that. So on the first one, you're saying learn more. This one, you can do sign up, whatever works for you. Then you also bid for that. Let's say it's a $1 bid. So you can see how we are building a sequence. So this is useful if you have a series of videos, but then they have to be viewed in a very specific order for the story to be told. Let's say you have the Centenary Bank MD talking about their performance, but then he starts off with an overview and then he goes deep into the financials. Then he talks about ESG, then he talks about impact to the economy, whereby if you start from ESG, you don't have the context from the earlier video. That's the use case for this kind of ad type. Any questions on this?
Yeah.
Yes.
So the other time you looked at that ad where they ask if you have other videos that are similar.
Yes.
Yeah. How different is it?
So the other one, you will have as many ads as you want in the same ad group, and they will be shown randomly. which means that if you had a story that has episode one, two, three, four, I can start from the ending. And then I'm like, what is this? Because I don't have episode three to one. Sequencing will just show only episode one to me. And then the next time I'm seeing an ad, I'm seeing episode two. But if she has not seen episode one, she will see episode one. You see? So it's kind of, it guarantees you that the same person, will see the ad in a specific order. You've got the difference, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other difference is the first one you're paying for views, this one you're paying for impressions.
Is it possible to add a video that is not public?
No, anything to do with YouTube, YouTube advertising has to be public.
Because I've seen scenarios where I'm looking for an ad and seeing it running,
Mm.
a video that's running as an ad, but I can't find it online.
Unless it is hosted on another channel. Yeah, any YouTube ad campaign uses only public URLs. You can't do like a dark posted like it is for other social media platforms. Yeah.
So what you're saying is if I did like a display ad,
Mhm.
what we're going to go into,
Mm.
and I wanted to go on YouTube, it can still display.
Yeah, it can, but it's not a good use of your money, because if your landing page in your case is a YouTube channel, then why not buy a YouTube ad? After all, the people are going to YouTube. Yeah. So because if you buy display, you have two scenarios. You're going to pay for impressions, or you're going to pay for clicks. A click is not a view. I can click and not even wait for it to load, and for you pay your money. Then it's even more expensive, buying a click versus buying a view. Yeah, so just like I see people do, and I keep wondering, someone has an Instagram account and then they run a Google display campaign targeting an Instagram page. The question is, why not just buy an Instagram ad directly? You know, it doesn't really. It's not a good strategy. If you've made a mistake, there is always an option to edit the step or remove the step. You know.
So for this particular, we don't have, we don't dictate the frequency. Like in a
All of those I've skipped because they are the same as the first one. Eh? You would go through the same process. The only thing that changes is the ads. Yeah. Yes, your question?
Your answer is based on if I have seen the video one time, that means the next person also will start.
Yes. Yes.
So, yeah,
So each person has a different starting point, depending on whether they've seen the previous one or not. If I've seen two, my next ad will be three. If you saw only one, your next ad will be two. If he hasn't seen anything, his ad will be one. You get it, eh? Yeah.
So actually, if a person is not logged in, let's say,
Mhm.
say at YouTube, the history, maybe through the browser, how then do you know the person's history?
No, Google would know because it doesn't rely on only your login credentials. It has other indicators, IP address, the MAC address of your computer, so many pointers. Your ISP, yeah, that like there is like I think a list of 20, 30 things they can use to know it's you. Any other questions around that? Okay, so don't get confused or anything. So you see the things we did earlier, age, are here. I've just skipped them to go to where the thing is different. Even display, we may not go through them because they are the same. What changes is the step where you are adding the banners. Okay, so let's get into display. So this video sequence campaign type would be really beneficial only and only if the video campaigns you're going to run must be seen in a particular order. And you shouldn't just have it on your side saying me, I want people to see it in this order. There should be a strong justification, for the main reason being CPM versus CPV. So if you have 5 videos in a campaign, a TVC, and some shorter videos, but it doesn't matter which order they are seen, don't don't get tempted to set up this ad type, because it's going to cost you more and you're going to have very few views compared to the other side. Yeah. And the reason being, you're paying for impressions versus optimizing for cost per view.
So just a quick one. So there is this campaign
Mm.
for cardiology that we are meant to run, and there are a series of videos. There are 5. So I was looking at exploring the other option that you gave, but
Which option?
the first one where you just put one video and then the others come.
Mm.
Just the one that has to cover.
Mm.
So I'm wondering, would this be a best bet? Okay, they look like they're in order.
Mm.
Okay,
Mm.
not like episodes, but it's
Mm.
like an educational thing.
Mm.
But it moves from like one point to another. Like I'm telling you about the head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Like that. But it's not like it's in particular order. So whichever anyone watches first,
It would still make
it
sense.
still has a call to action that you just for the cardiological to get your heart checked and all that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Then in that case, use the one we looked at last Saturday. Yeah. Then another thing to note, the related videos thing we saw, in that case, would not apply. You would need to set up, because you see, related video, the video that is going to be served as an ad is the main video. But as someone is seeing the main video, they are seeing for free, because you don't pay for that, below related videos. So if you want each of those videos to be distributed as an ad, you would have to create each as an ad. And then the related videos can be anything. They could even be the same, but then each of those would need to be set up as an ad. You get it, eh? So don't set up only the first video and then the 3 you put in related. Because what will happen is all the budget will go to the first video. And then the related ones could get, mileage, but it will be just left to God. Eh? Yet here, you can have each of those get the same level of visibility. Yeah. So if you have 4 videos set up for ads, related videos is just a value addition from Google for you to leverage, and works better if you have one video to distribute, but then you want to showcase other less important videos under related. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. So we are going to set up display. For the benefit of the ones who are not here, I'll just quickly run through the initial steps. So display has a goal, that goal conversion. If you want to set that up, remember what we said about linking accounts. You can link your Google Analytics and then import pages. If say someone visits a thank you page after filling in a form, that would be a conversion. So you set your thank you page here as the conversion. Alternatively, if you don't have that configuration, you can proceed without a goal. So we start off with the website. So I don't know if I should say this or I'll confuse you guys. So there is what is called a UTM parameter. Let me see if it's still available in Google Analytics 4. Let's see. You guys missed the other analytics we had. This one we are using these days. It's terrible. Actually, I want to mention it because they don't even capture that information here. But there was a tab called campaign where you could segment the traffic that came to your website at a campaign level. Let's say you were running 100 campaigns. You're able to see in your Google Analytics which campaign drove what and what those people did extensively. But they've removed it in this version, the latest version of analytics. So I'll not confuse you by explaining because it's no longer useful for now unless they bring it back. So let's say this is our URL. Now, another thing to note and a common mistake, someone uses the primary domain. I hope we all know what it is now. Or the home page. Yes, I think is the word. Instead of the specific landing page. That's a very big mistake. Let's say we have changed, Airtel has changed Airtel money fees. And they would like people to know. So they are running a display campaign. So you would have made a mistake if you use this as your link because it is going to the home page and the user has to now start jumping around, finding where the rates are. So it's very critical for you to have a specific landing page rather than the home page. Even when you have a campaign, let's say you have a campaign for centenary and it's about loans, insist that they create a landing page for that promotion because then it will help you to get quality traffic and generate leads better. So if we were looking at the rates, we would need to go to the specific page that has the transaction fees. So this would be our link and not airtel.co.ug. So we add our link and then we say continue. We give a name. Remember, we said you guys need to adopt a naming convention. I don't know if you've decided on that. You should, where you say, you remember that conversation on naming convention? Yeah. How are you naming your campaign so that it is easy to report? So that even if you wanted to go back 5 years ago, you can quickly find the campaign because you know, maybe you start off with the client's name, the campaign type, the objective, and then the time and date factor. So let's say we have this bank,
then
then
and then
it's what?
first name,
Mm-hmm.
campaign date, and then date.
It's
Looking at the fact that we might have clients who for a long period of time,
mm,
then you can go to target or rather go.
Okay. You can even just keep it at this.
Yeah.
The client name, the campaign type, and then the date. So if this is going to run to maybe up to September, you can set to September 2024. And that becomes your naming convention. So next client, you start off with the name, like that. So here, you remember the location options we set up last time. You can set up all countries. I don't know why you would, but you can set up Uganda. But away from Uganda, you can set up districts, you can set up towns, you can set up specific locations. Let's say we want to set up Entebbe. You can see it's there. So would include Entebbe here. There are also cases where you want to exclude certain places. Maybe the client does not have distribution there, etc. So instead of saying include, you would say exclude. Then another important area is this presence or interest, and then presence. So presence and interest, even if I'm in California, but I show an interest in Entebbe, I would see your ad. Then here under presence, I need to be in Entebbe to see your ad. That's the key difference. So most times you will just have this. The only time this would be useful is if you're doing diaspora targeting. Let's say you have targeted guys in this location, but then in a US location in Uganda, but a guy in the US has an interest in that location you're targeting. That's when you'd apply that.
So for products like your TV, where you have Ugandan TV stations and you're targeting Uganda in the diaspora who want to watch like local content.
Yeah. So, but then the best way is for you to target those states. So you see, if you look at the world, I think it's World Population something. It's a UN agency. They give us data on where Ugandans are within the world. So you have to do that research and then know if you're looking at United States as your target country, in which states are the Ugandans. So you target those states and then you add placement for Ugandan YouTube channels. Let's assume it's a YouTube campaign. Or you add targets, placements for Ugandan websites, monitor.co.ug, vision, da, da, da. So that means that all the people in those states that are currently visiting those sites will be the only ones seeing. Yeah. Okay. Here, you're basically saying, first of all, okay, there are two options. Prefer best performing ads. What Google will do is they will run for a period of, let's say, depending on how long your campaign is, maybe a week, all of your ads. Remember, in display, you upload different banners, different banner sizes. And then they will see which one has performed well, and they will either stop or reduce the distribution of the rest of the banners and focus on the ones that are doing well. Here, you're saying do not optimize. Serve all the banners, regardless of their performance, in a cycle until the campaign is done. The recommended one is this, so that they can identify which banners are performing well for you, and then they focus most of the budget there. Then we also saw this, so I won't spend a lot of time. Are you going to run every day or specific days? Weekends only, work days. Night time only, during daytime. That is where you would set that up. So notice that everything I click, it goes back to more settings. So you just have to click back. Then the devices, where do you want it to show? Remember, we looked at these computers, mobile phones, tablets, but away from that, also you can target specific mobile phone types, specific device types, and operating systems. Then here is where we set our end and start date. So that means you can schedule ahead of time, and then it will get all the approvals, but start running only when the date is due. And then the end date. Let's say we want to end of month. Now there is someone, she has not come today, who asked about exclusions. So this is a very important step that people miss. You want to exclude your ad from showing on some content and some websites and some topics. So one is if content is not labeled, because then it can be anything. It can even be a porn site, and then for you have centenary next to it. Client fires you. So you exclude content not yet labeled, mature content as standard, regardless of what you're advertising. Then also sensitive topics, better to exclude them. So all of these need to be excluded. The reason is, even if you excluded them, you still have a lot more to work with in terms of audience than your budget will get you. So why risk to show an ad next to a very sensitive topic, which is a brand reputation risk? So buyers who are not skilled at what they do not even know this part exists. So you just find the ads, flying all over the place. Here, depending on what you are going for, I'd also recommend you exclude packed domains. So a packed domain is essentially a domain that does not have website content, but the owner reserved it for future use. So the quality of traffic there is not good. So there's no reason why you would go in for such a thing. Below the fold, although you shouldn't exclude, is so the name comes from the newspaper You know how you fold the newspaper? So the top is where the headline is. Then the thing you fold. So this is your newspaper. This is above the fold, below the fold. Fold, literal fold. So if you're reading this, it means you're seeing only the. I hope I don't tear the book. You're only seeing the top, below the fold, bottom. So what this means in digital terms is if you exclude below the fold, you want your ads to appear at the top of the sites only, not below. Because sites have placements that are above and then placements that are below. Yeah, but then it's not recommended to exclude, because if you've targeted right, it doesn't matter whether it was at the top or the middle, it is. And then some sites reserve the top or above the fold for advertisers who have come to them directly. Let's maybe look at monitor, the home page. This is above the fold. Then down here somewhere is below. Basically, if someone has to scroll, then it is below the fold. Above the fold, right at the top. Now that varies depending on the screen size and a couple of other factors. Yes?
So I want to ask, so that means booking.com is going to turn into for their advert.
This, yeah, ad choices, but they're not. This is not a Google ad, but still they didn't come to them. You know, there are so many people asking me ad choices that you can buy from. Yeah, but every time you're seeing this for Google, it shows ads by Google here. It's even a circle, not that. And the reason this is the case is because I'm trying to book a trip and I visited booking.com. So if you go under my history, I do a lot of browsing. You can see. So I'm looking at Cape Town. Even the ads are giving me Cape Town. That is called remarketing. Yeah. So all of these, they didn't have to go to monitor. They went to ad choices. This is a monitor ad directly booked. Madvani directly booked. You know, etc. If we click an article, yeah, they have the arch paywall. But you get the drift. So I wouldn't recommend you exclude below the fold, because then you'd miss out on some high quality traffic there. Okay. Additionally, we can set next here. Now your bidding, if you're going to do conversion based bidding, you need to have set up your conversion actions on Google Analytics, which is another thing altogether. I wouldn't want to confuse you. And then also, there is a bare minimum in how many conversions you already have for you to use this ad type, because they need some source data to work with so that they can know who to show the ads to get you the similar results. So if you're starting from scratch, I would recommend you click that and then use either viewable CPM or maximizing clicks. Maximizing clicks is you're basically telling them, for me, the thing I value the most is the person who is going to click the ad. Whether they wait for the site to load or not, I just want the click. Viewable CPM is basically saying, for me, I want as many people to see the ad, whether they click or not, that is secondary to me. Yeah. So if display serves predominantly an awareness purpose, so if awareness is your goal, although me, I never believe that there is someone who just wants awareness and they leave it at that. It's a common thing in marketers that I can't really get to terms with. So definitely maximize clicks would be ideal. And then you just set a higher frequency if you want your ads to show a lot often. So we've said daily budget. Let's say we have a daily budget of $5. Now, remember where we set the end date? Some people skip. Then they come here and they set a daily budget of $10. Then they come back months later and the thing is still distributing. So if you have your money on the card and you don't check your card notifications, or if you have preloaded credit, because you can load credit here, and then it doesn't get directly from the card, it gets from what you've loaded. You will find the money used up, and then you're asking yourself, then you start saying, Centenary and Ziba, yet it is actually you. Then here, even if we've set a bid strategy to maximize clicks, we can set a cap on how much we're willing to pay per click. This is where you set that. So you now set your maximum CPC, or cost per click, bid limit. You're basically saying, I'm willing to pay a maximum of maybe 0.2 for every click. If they see that the click is 0.21, they will not show your ad in that auction. But remember what we said, even if you set a bid of 0.2 and then the next person sets 0.1, you're going to only pay for 0.11, just 1 extra cent higher than the next bidder. Now you may ask, what determines your CPC? We talked about that, how to set the unit costs. Look at your historical data, then in your media plan, you already have these numbers there. The other option, if you're starting out and you are not sure, you don't have historical data to work with, is to uncheck this and let them do the best possible to get you as many clicks in the budget that you have. So this is another, if you don't want stress, you can take that direction. It's the other thing we use if you want to do conversion-based bidding and things like that. If you've set up your conversions and you have some conversion data to play with, then you can switch to that. Then we send next. Remember, we looked at this: demographic targeting, keyword targeting, topics targeting, placement targeting. Display ads show on YouTube just below the video. Sometimes they can even show on desktop top right. They show on mobile apps. They show on websites, both desktop and mobile sites. So if you are focusing predominantly, let's say it's an app-driven site, but still they want to generate awareness, so they don't want to do the USC campaign type we talked about, you may target only mobile devices and then come here and let it show on only apps. That would get you as close as possible to a high quality traffic for that kind of client. So you can do all the stuff here, set your, age, gender, what, all of that stuff. Maybe you are targeting people interested in politics. As an example, you could do so. Now here, we have what are called responsive display ads, such as the one you saw on monitor. It's not like designed properly, but it's picking different assets and putting them together. The beauty about those ads is that they can generate an ad that fits any screen size. And it's a good way if you are not good at designing. You can't use software to design the banners. You can just upload images, upload logos, upload your text or copy, and then Google will match depending on the searches that someone has done. You get that? Yeah, so you can see here, they even have suggested images for you based on the link that you had used. So here you put the business name, then you upload up to 15 images, then you add your logos. You can even add videos. They recommend a portrait and landscape video. Then you add headlines, descriptions. It's more or less like the search ad like we'll see. And you can select what it can play with. Does it auto-generate additional videos based on the samples you've created, or does it maintain only what you've uploaded? Once everything is done, it will be showing everything you add. It shows you the ad strength. You need to go for a strength that is fairly good, either a 50% or higher. You know, so everything we add here, they will check. They will check this. This is done. This is done. This is done, and then you'll be ready to run the ad. Option 2 is to come here up, and so this is a case where you have banners. The reason you would go through creating banners is you want to maintain a certain look and feel for your ads. If you use this format, they will just do, I hope we can still find one on monitor. Now, this is a responsive display ad. They just added this, then this image, just see, then the logo, and then a call to action. This is a better execution, but sometimes it's quite messy. The AI doesn't do a good job at combining these assets. And then it generates a banner that is not really up to standard. So this is the business name, this is the image they uploaded, call to action, etc. All of them are available here for you to do right here. But if you have banners that are already designed and you would like to upload, you click there and you say upload display banners. Then it will leave this, and then you enter the URL again at this point, and then you choose where your banners are, and then you upload them. They will show here. If you don't know the sizes, you can just Google display banner sizes, and then they will give you the sizes that must be uploaded. You go under static images. Where is static? Yeah. So you see, this is important. This is what you send your creatives. If someone has been in the industry for long, they have these sizes, but somehow they keep asking for them. So you send them the sizes. Very important, it must be 150 kilobytes. Anything higher than that will not be accepted. It can be a GIF, JPEG, or PNG. So there are different sizes here that you can upload. Now, they tend to get lazy and be like, oh, why do you need all of these? Let me give you only 5. But it's important for them to give you all these sizes, because the more sizes, the bigger your reach. If I have like a small phone, it accepts a certain size of banner. A guy with a bigger phone, it accepts a certain type of banner. If you give me only mobile banners, it means I'm missing out on desktop, you know. So these sizes are there for a reason, and you shouldn't accept less from the creatives by saying, oh, it's too much work, let me give you only this, etc. Once you do the banners, you just say next, and the campaign will start. Any questions on display? So we haven't dwelled much into how you target what, because the affinity audience, the in-market audience, all that stuff is the same for this campaign type. What changes is the fact that at the end, you can build a responsive banner, or you can upload static banners there. Okay, any questions?
Mine is on, before we switch to this page, there's somewhere where it says headline 1, headline 2. I'm being confused about it, like what headline 1 is. That what you want people to see first, or
I think you mean this.
I think I've seen it also on search as well.
So let's populate some of this information. Airtel, Uganda. Let's maybe use these images suggested. Let me just zoom out a bit. Go back to reset. Save. Let's get some logos in. Do I have any logo? Okay, let me just look for the Airtel Money logo. Let's say we want to use this. Let's say we've added some videos. Maybe this one. So these are your headlines. Let me call this headline 1. And then you see there is a short headline that has 30 characters, a long headline that has 90 characters. Long headline with 90 characters, just for us to preview the ads. Descriptions are also 90 characters. So let me just add these suggested descriptions. Now, you can see the strength is improving. Yeah, as we go along. Images, they've not got enough images. Headlines, they've not got enough headlines. They want you to add up to 5. So that's the AI tool can play around with the options. So let's preview the ads. So you've seen where we've set. This is how your ads would come. So you see, they are not too bad, but they are not very cohesive in terms of brand look and feel. So you see where your long headline with 90 characters comes. So headline 1 is the big one. In web design, we call it H1. Then this is H2. You see where, so you see it's kind of generating different iterations. You see now where the video comes. It also comes as not a YouTube video, but in the place where the video, the banner goes, it is the video showing with your headline 1 and your description and a call to action. You see, So these are the different. Now that is on the display ecosystem. On the Google Mail ecosystem, this is how it would come. On the YouTube ecosystem, now closed, it looks like that. If someone taps to open, it opens to that. You must have seen these, especially under promotions, the promotions tab on your Google. On the YouTube ecosystem, that's what it looks like. So it's highly effective because you cannot match its ability to generate. And even if it shows, it sees that there is a need for a certain iteration, it will dynamically create it. For you, you can't keep up. You can see that I don't have, this banner is missing, I'm not getting good mileage on this, but you can't keep uploading banners because you have other things to do. So what people do is sometimes if you have the flexibility to, people won't make noise on the brand look and feel, this is the best way to go. Alternatively, you can mix. You can have the banners and the responsive ad type under one campaign, and then you measure how they are performing. Actually, sometimes they can even give you a warning and say, we've noticed you don't have a responsive display campaign. This is how it would appear on a desktop site. So really, so you see now it has got the Mr. Money here and used it as a blurred background. You see, now in brand, most CIs don't allow such an application. That is the risk with these automated things, because they tell you how to use that Mr. Money and how not to use him. Unless you're going to use a generic image, then you can even share this preview with whoever needs to approve. And then they can check out what the ad will look like. And then for you, you have it in your drafts. And then you said, this is what we think we should do. And then the person is able to play around with image ads and how they appear. See, they can just say next, 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 next. Then they can play around with video ads. This is how it's going to appear, something like that. This, someone does not need to have even a Google Mail account. Just send it to the client or internal person, they approve, then you're good to go. So let's say we've created that, then we say create ad. So this is a responsive ad. We can now also upload banners. So we have a mix of uploaded banners and responsive ad, and then we compare which one is, without a doubt, the other one is going to do better, because Google is twisting everything, where the logo is, where the text is. And then if you have 5 headlines, it's also testing which headline is working better. Then it's kind of using a lot of AI to get you the best possible results. While your headline in the banner is what it is, doesn't change. So obviously the other one will do better, but then in terms of flexibility, if the brand does not mind, then you go for the responsive. If they want their things to appear a certain way, then you can't.
Just a quick one. I saw something here in the responsive ad where there's suggested images. Down below there's a plus for images, so it's also possible to go with their suggested images and also add another image.
The suggested images are going to come from the URL you've added. So you can add their suggested and then pick others from wherever you want. Yeah. Any other questions on display? Since we are good.
I have a question.
Yes.
So for the ads that come from, say, like Google to like Monitor, do they get paid for that?
Yes. So there is a tool called AdSense. AdSense is the supplier side. Remember what we looked at, the SSP, DSP, and then the exchange in the middle. So DSP is the one that we, the clients, use, which is Google Ads. Then the monitors of this world have AdSense. So they get a portion of whatever money you've paid if your ad appears on their site. Actually, when I was working with Monitor, my background is media before I went into agencies, telecom, and where I am now. It was the most profitable source of advertising revenue for Monitor.co.ug, that AdSense thing. Reason being that if you have a lot of traffic, even if the revenue share is very small, it translates into thousands and thousands of dollars for you. And then you don't have to plead with the Jones to give you ads. Then it kind of optimizes the ads to show the most paying ads. It's not a standard fee that all the ads from Google are going to show at this price on your site. They will give you high ticket ads, low ticket, mid, You're sleeping for it, it's making for you money. So even the bloggers who monetize their blogs get some portion of revenue from Google. But how much you get will depend on the traffic you have, because the more traffic, the more ads it can show. Okay? Any other questions?
Maybe you can just add how you use AdSense to connect and feed to Google Analytics. That's why you set up a conversion tracker for the ad.
Yeah, you can, but you see, from an AdSense perspective, unless you want to see which stories are generating for you the most revenue. But for us as advertisers, the most important connection is Google Analytics, AdWords. That way you kind of get that conversion data flowing in. Because you see, if AdWords says you got 1,000 people who clicked to visit your website, you don't know what they did there after visiting. You don't know. Okay, AdWords could give you some basic information like their age, their location, and all of that from its reports. But then you want to have a deeper understanding of what those people are doing. And for that to happen, you need to link these two together. And the linking is the same as the YouTube thing. It will ask you if you have multiple analytics accounts, it will ask you which account you want to link. If you have admin access, it will auto, confirm. If you don't, it will inform the admin that so and so would like to link their ad account to your analytics. Admin just clicks accept, then the link opens and he accepts, and then it will be connected. Yeah. Any questions? Okay. So that's so the way you set up YouTube and the way you set up um, display is more or less the same. I'm going to go to the next easier one and then we close it with search. So the next easier one is what we mentioned there, the app campaign type. If you are running a campaign type if you're running, if your objective is to get downloads and installations and conversion action on the app, this is the most effective. But it only works if you've linked your app and your Google Ads account. So you need two things. You need to link Google Play Store for the Android version, and you just go back to the same way I showed you how to link a YouTube channel. If you're to buy ads for App Store or iPhone apps, you need a third-party attribution tool, and the most common one is called Apps Flyer. The reason being that Apple is not part of the Google ecosystem, so they cannot by default know if someone saw an ad and they installed. They would need a connection between the App Store and Google Ads, and Apps Flyer does that for them. Now, how to do Apps Flyer and all of that, very technical. I wouldn't want to bore you. But if you get to a place where you want to do that integration, we can always have a chat and I show you how it's done. Also worth noting, Apps Flyer has a free version of their tool, but to a certain extent you're going to pay a subscription for it. The beauty about it is that it does not only do that attribution on the AdWords end, it also goes to show you what these people did on your app. So that the more money you spend, Google has brought me 1,000 downloads, and this is what these people are doing. How much revenue you've got, how many purchases they've done, and how many referrals they've generated, etc. Because you have to set it up on its own, then you link it back to Google. It's a very long and technical process. We won't go through it today. Now, when you select app, they will give you these options down here. Are you driving installations? Are you driving engagement? Installations is you're getting downloads. But if you want engagement, you're basically saying, if Google detects that John has my app, I want John to do a transaction within my app. For example, you may want John to, if John has downloaded your app, but they've not submitted their information to you to complete their profile. So you would target using the app engagement objective. This will not show to people who, one, have your app but haven't taken that action. But also for the new people that will see the ad, Google will use the data it has on the people who have taken that action to get you a lookalike audience for totally new people who could take that action based on the data they have. Are you still following? Yeah. So But you see, it has a caveat on it. Yes.
What I understood is the first one is for people, you're prompting people to download.
Yes.
The second one, you're saying, even if I have the app, it won't try to do this and not using it. It can't push usage.
No, no, no. It's actually the opposite. The first one is to drive installation. The second one is to drive usage or in-app action. Now that in-app action will vary. It could range from someone completed their profile. It could be maybe you have a promotion that you want people to buy a certain item on your e-commerce app. You would set that action to be the engagement you're chasing, and then Google optimizes for that. Um, it will show it to your current. This one will exclude everyone who has your app already automatically. This one will have both the guys who have your app and the new guys who don't have it, but using their data, they've been analyzed to possibly do what you want them to do because they have some information on people who have done that action already. So it's a mix of a lot of machine learning and big data for them to know what behavior. What we have to know is that these guys know a lot about us, like a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. It's scary. So they use that information for such purposes here. The moment you sign into your Google, even if you don't allow certain things, Bosimania will not allow location, I will not allow microphone, you're just wasting your time. They're still picking the information. Yes.
There is that condition that
50K.
so if I don't,
You can't use this, you can only use this. You get it? Eh? You need to have up to 50K installations minimum or 50K downloads on your app before you can use this. Why? Because they need some data so that they can optimize for this. Well, for this, they don't need any data to optimize. You've got why? Eh? Yeah. So this one, don't even think about it if you have 1K, 10K, what. Chill, set this up, grow your numbers. Then once the numbers are there, you can now start working on this one. This is not a common one. You basically you have an app that is coming and you want people to pre-register for when the app is live. What happens is, if I pre-register for an app, if you release the app, it will automatically download on my phone and inform me that the app is available now and it has downloaded. Or it could prompt me that you expressed interest in this app, it is now available. Do you want to download? Then I tap with a single click and it downloads. So it's used by people who are launching solutions and they want to build that initial, interest. Eh? Like, you know how they're releasing Apple phones and then people are pre-booking, yet they are not free phones. This is the same case as well. Here is where you select the platform. So Android, you need to have linked. The reason this app is showing is because it is linked via the Google Play Store integration. If it's not linked, then you can't run this app campaign type. So the agencies face a problem that clients who don't really understand why this is important may not allow to link your ad account to their Play Store. With that, it means you can't use this app campaign type at all. You'd have to use other options, which are far less effective for conversion. If it is linked, we would select it like that. Now, before I move on, let's say we had selected iOS. You see, there is no iOS here. Why? Because we don't have Apps Flyer set up. If Apps Flyer was set up here, it would show us the iOS app here. Yeah.
It's automatic apps.
Yes. So let's say this is a test campaign. Let me just say test. Now, this also does not have a lot of things to set up. Eh? It's even less work than display and YouTube because it relies predominantly on artificial intelligence to deliver the results. What they're going to do is to look at the information that you've provided on the Google Play Store listing for your app. So about the app, the category of the app, what it does, is it entertainment, blah, blah, blah. Then they're going to use the information here to now show the app to the people. Now, if you want your app campaign to be effective, unfortunately, this is not something you can control, especially for global clients, because for them, they think they know a lot. You would need to set up as much more useful information about your app as possible. The description should be intense, like not just the basic descriptions that you have on most apps. So they use that information. Let's say about. You see what these guys did? They added all the keywords under their description here. So that makes their app campaigns more effective because there is a lot more data to work with by Google. Sorry? It's P. I think even finding this app could be one of the deterrents to, because man, by the time you spend it, you search and all of that, you where is the app? I think they didn't. Okay, it's here. Yeah. So you see, they're also quite detailed.
This is one of the campaigns we might have to run next week.
Have they integrated?
No, we mentioned that we need to integrate, so he just told us to share with them the requirements for that, as well as the budget. And when it comes to the budget, we're looking at focusing, of course, only on app install campaign, but maybe you could also advise we also mix in other elements of social, or do we focus on other people at
Focus on this. This campaign, me, one of the reasons I love app marketing is that I know at every stage what will make me look good. At the acquisition stage, I know this is the magic bullet. At the life cycle management stage, the beauty about an app is that once you download, I have a lot of ways to engage you. In-app, push notifications, etc. And then for most applications, the conversion is happening online. So it means I can track the user end to end. It's not like a website and you fill in a form, then the sales guys have to call you to confirm a loan, that long process. So one of the most exciting things to actually market is apps. I even charge slightly less for apps because I know I will enjoy what I will be doing. So I would say go for this exclusively, because unless you want to blow some common a bit for awareness, but if you're looking at conversion, this is the answer. So like we looked at earlier, location targeting is the same regardless of the campaign type. Then here you have to set your start end date. Let's say we are closing at end of the month. So notice here, we've not got the things of, let's say, people interested in this, people interested in that. We don't have affinity audiences, we don't have demographics, we don't have, because like I mentioned, they're using their artificial intelligence and relying on the data you provided on the app listing on the Play Store. Now, another important thing let's say our budget is $10 per day. Another important thing is this part here. So they're asking you, what are you focusing on? Is it install volume, in-app actions, or in-app actions value? So the two most common ones are these. If you want as many people to download as possible, regardless of what they do after downloading, volume. If you want people to download and do certain actions, you need to have set up what actions those are. You import them, and then you can say, I want you to focus on people who are going to download and complete their registration. That is the difference between the two. So they would show you what the eligible actions here are. Notice where they came from. Firebase. Firebase is the analytics of apps, and it will capture these actions automatically. So that means that for your execution, you'd need them to link both the Google Play Store and the Firebase to your ads account. Then you can import these as the same way we saw how to link a YouTube is the same way you import these actions. Then now you say cost per action. Now, the thing to note here is that the action you are buying should be a very, very important action, because targeting by action is super expensive, while targeting by install volumes is affordable. So what people do is, for me, when a client does not have a big budget, I'll target volumes because I know I have other ways to engage that person in order to take the action I want. Just see here, $7.21 per action is their recommendation, which is so expensive. So what I would recommend you do is you target volume and then you see the price. But then this is useful if you're sure you have ways you will engage these people to take the actions. Short of that, you are extending your problems by another day. But then you get to the point now where you have to get these people to take the action and you have no way of getting them to take the action. So client will be like, we have 1,000 downloads, only 10 people have registered fully. So no value at the end of the day. Okay. Once you do this, let's say we've taken their recommendation. By the way, you don't have to take their recommendation. You could go lower, but then for them, they've done the analysis, see how competitive your app type is at that point in time, and that is the recommendation they make. And then also, if you have a small budget, these things of client has given us $100, you stay away from this. At least do for them awareness and what on social media. Otherwise, you will not have enough. Google will not have enough data to work with to optimize your campaign because it is serving to a very small audience.
What's the recommended? Sorry, one question.
Yeah.
What's the budget you need?
I think if you have like 100 a day, it's a good place. You can do 50. You know these things, eh?
This is a daily budget.
Yeah, a day. Ideal. All of you guys, what budgets do you guys buy? The 100 a day and your a day. This is the thing, eh? This is the thing. Maybe for me, I'm like out of touch with reality, but I feel like 100 a day budget is not a bad budget at all. Eh? 50 is also fine. I think for this to work, at least get $1,000 for a campaign and tell the client if this is our 1,000.
So you can actually calculate the.
You're basically telling me, give me $1,000, I give you 2,600 downloads. It's a good deal, eh? Or give me $100 every week for 6 months, and I buy social media ads, and at the end of the day, we are looking at 500 downloads.
Awareness.
And awareness, which does not put food on the table. So you just have to explain the value of this ad campaign type. Eh? Now, the thing is, if say you wanted to chase for 1,000 downloads, how much money would you need, knowing that this is the cost? Nope. I put that times thing to confuse you, and you fell right in my trap. So it depends. I would say go for if you don't have $1,000, okay. But anyway, which client is serious about their business and they can't do 1,000?
If you have an app, you genuinely can do 1,000. That's a fact. But we're advising that you focus on this particular campaign because they're trying to spread themselves thin.
And
With other
focus on this. You see, every time you report a download for such a client, it is less gray hair for you. They are going to be happy. That happiness may not be long lasting, but it will buy you another day. It is not like the case where you're saying our hashtag trended, we have X amount of video views, and the downloads are the same. That client will be like, this thing is not working. What else can we try? But here, get them their downloads, and then they see a graph like this. Because you see, if you open Google Play Store, it shows you the trajectory. Then they see that when you advertise up, so it kind of gets you even the buy-in to get more budgets and more time. So you then tell them, but for us, and you see these clients, you have to just be totally honest with them. One, tell them if you don't have an investment in advertising, we are wasting both our time. You're not going to get results. Of course, you can't say that if you're employed, but for me, I tell them. Then the other aspect is, in this case, for an app, if you don't have tools to engage people after they've downloaded, you're not going to get revenue. It's as simple as that. So you recommend and say, this is the budget I need. These are the tools you should have. If they give you the budget but not the tools, you're able to deliver those downloads. You may not deliver the conversion after the download, but you would have told them even before starting that this thing will not work if we don't have ABCD. Documented, not only WhatsApp conversations. So that way, if you run your campaign, because you see this 0.38 is going to go lower. You're not going to buy at this. And remember what we said, if it's 0.38, don't communicate 0.38, communicate at 0.4. That gives you under promise, over deliver is the principle. So you're going to, even if you have 0.38, you're going to get it at a much lower cost. I know for a fact. You'd have given them a lot of value for their investment, because the math they will do then is how much has it cost us to get these downloads. $1,000 divided by this, let's say, oh my God, my battery is running so fast and I didn't carry my adapter. I had a lot of chilling in the car, and it took up a lot of battery. So basically what we are saying here is that we are getting from a $1,000 investment, we are getting 2,631 downloads. Even if we just round it off to 2,000, you see it's the 3.8. So you basically, if this was Uganda shillings, worst case scenario, it's not at 3.8. You're spending, okay, let's just max it to 3.8. You're spending less than 1,500 per installation. Now, this client is going to have an on-ground team, perhaps in the markets, in the what, who they pay X amount of money every day. They're going to have a TV ad. They're going to have a radio ad. Quantify this, and you're like, those channels don't guarantee you results. Me, I'm getting you these results at 1,500 per download. Hey, because we have other channels here. No, but it is what it is.
We have a few questions.
Yes, the questions?
This ad type, can it measure uninstalls? That's the first question.
No, it won't show uninstalls, but then your Play Store console, etc. has that data.
Number two, we're in a situation whereby this client of ours is, for lack of a better term, a social media client. So at the very first point of engagement, they were signed on for a different service,
Mm.
and ad buying is coming in to support. And yet now we're seeing, of course, because of that, the deliverables or the measures of success are different. But now that they're including ad buying as uh, one of the KPIs, and we're seeing that we haven't in our negotiations. It's not even a measure. It's measures of success were not there. But as we begin, we're going to define
What measures of success do you currently have?
measures of success. What is in our current reports to people? It's
What are the top 3 things that you guys measure for them?
Right now, for sure.
No, like for the account.
Ideally, it should be.
Not ideally. What do you measure? Top 3.
Okay.
actually, I think it's the platforms we manage for them.
So
and the
reach
platform performance.
those things,
Yeah.
engagement, but it's an app solution. How can you not have downloads and at the very least downloads?
So at inception, that was not discussed. So what do we do in a
You
case
see,
like
that's the
this?
problem. That if the client is also clueless to a certain extent, they are going to have the wrong brief.
They're clear.
They are not good.
So they come to us
But
knowing- because they're asking
and
us
so are
to
they
do that
doing this
on their own.
at the global level? Because this can be done wherever you are.
They're not doing it at the global level. They've asked us for this plan almost a month into.
Then they are clueless, Brenda. If they're not running USC and they are an app solution and they are focusing all their budgets on social media, that is confirmation that they are clueless. Of course, you can't say that, but because you see, if you're allocating budget when you are a marketing director, you will have channels that you know guarantee you success. That is where most of your budgets go. Then you have support channels because they also have to build a community, build a following, build engagement, which is social now. But then you don't do 100% social and then ignore something that is going to grow the business, which is this. Just like a website driven company ignoring display advertising, it shows you that their strategy has gaps somewhere. And the reason why they come to people like you is to actually say those things, but in a nicer way, and tell them, look, are you currently running any universal app install campaigns globally? No. This is why you should shift your focus from exclusively social media to USC. Can we run an experiment with this investment? I can guarantee you these results even before we start. Then you give them the results, then they start to see, oh, by the way, this thing is getting us more value than social media and influencers. Let us ramp up the budget this side. That's how you help the client as an agency. You ask the questions and then realize, okay, so there are opportunities for growth here and there, and then you kind of advise them. Yes?
So basically, reiterating this, the buying strategy should be based on the host platform.
Yes,
And
yes,
the
yes,
Google
yes.
website.
Yes. That greatly influences how you prioritize. It doesn't mean that all your money goes there. It can, because you would still grow. But if you're to now put percentages, that determines your allocation. Even if it's let's say it's a thought leadership series. Let's say it's ABSA and they have that ready to work thing. They are targeting university guys and all of that. Where are those guys? That's where the budget goes most. If it's a thought leadership series, let's say back in the days we had Vodafone Power Talks. They were targeting corporates, entry level managers, mid, senior, etc. Okay, let's say Vosi is coming to Uganda. You're targeting working professionals at entry level management roles, mid and senior. Where would your money go most if you were advertising? Exactly. So you see how campaign or the product dictates where you should be investing the most. But it doesn't mean, like in the Vusi case, you wouldn't put a small portion on X, small portion on Facebook. But then if you put, you have 1,500 or 600 is on Facebook, if I saw that media plan, I'd be like, these people don't know what they are doing, because that's not where your core audience sits. Yeah. Okay, any other questions? I want to complete this and go to, you see where we've gone? Now it wants me to confirm. Let me confirm. So here, we don't have the liberty to just upload banners. The USC is very rich in that it is one campaign that has display, YouTube, and search in one. You get it? So you're going to upload. You remember how we did the responsive ad type? This is the only possible scenario here. Headline, description, images up to 20. You can add up to 20 videos. It doesn't mean you have to add all, but you have that provision. You can add HTML5 banners. Then, if you have a deep link, you can add it here. A deep link is like what we saw here. So the app installation link would be at this level. Anything below would be a deep link, where if you want people to install and log in, instead of coming at the home page, after logging in, they may be coming at a leadership page. So for apps, they are called deep links. For websites, they are called sub pages or sub links or whatever. Yeah. How that deep link is done, you can import it still as a conversion action from Firebase, or you can have your developer create one. And then after next, publish, live. So all your assets are added here. Notice that we've not selected demographic, we've not selected affinity in market audience, we've not selected all of that stuff. Thing to note is, if you're coming up with your headline and descriptions, try and use keywords that would relate to your app. Maybe if it's an entertainment app, get keywords that relate to entertainment. We're going to look at that in search advertising, how you get the keywords. It's better you have them used here in the description and in the headlines. So it will then show you the iterations of how your ad is going to look. Now you see the call to action here. Everything is install. It's install everywhere. Now, if you have, you see, install, everything is going to be install, etc. Everything is installed wherever it is. So here, if someone does not have the device type and the operating system version that supports your app, they will not see the ad. Because you see here, every app has what it supports. So this one supports Android, this version, and requires, no, this is the version of the app. This is the Android version. It supports 6 and up. So any Android that is not 6 and up will not see this ad, because Google knows they cannot install and use your application. Yeah. Any questions on that? Yes.
So, does this apply also to apps that are built in?
And iOS, yes, but for iOS you would need Apps Flyer. It's a tool that you have to install on your iOS app and link to your Google Ads. Because remember, we are paying only for installations. Google will not know if someone installed an iOS app if that tool is not there, because they don't own the App Store the same way they own Play Store. Yeah. Yes.
I was asking about that. Let's say if you're doing the campaign for $1,000, does it guarantee those number of downloads? Like within that campaign period, it's guaranteed that you by the end of the period.
It even gives you more. So they give you the bare minimum, but then you realize now. Another thing to note, you see, I told you buying is one thing, optimization is another. As the campaign goes, it will show you that this video you added is getting you more downloads at this price. This banner is getting you downloads at this price. This keyword is getting you downloads at this price. So you have to keep turning on and off things that are getting you a download at the rate you are looking at. So it doesn't mean that after setting up, since most of the things are automated, you just chill until the end of the campaign. You have to keep checking in, and then you see which banner is costing you, because there will be a banner maybe that does not do 0.38, that is doing 0.7. Turn off that banner. You see, if you do that, then you can actually get those numbers even more if you optimize. Optimizing meaning what's working, what's not, turn off what's not working, leave what's working. Yes, like I was running a campaign for a brand, and we realized that the videos of the influencers were getting us more downloads at a much less cost than this product video that apps have. So what we did was to turn off the product videos, and we kept only the influencer videos because they were demonstrating. After 3 days, you should be, seeing data, even 2 days, depending on the budget you have. But this app, my God, it is 114 MBs.
It's a financial app that's quite heavy.
Jesus Christ. Maybe I don't check Android things a lot, but let me check Stanbic and I see.
It's actually like
You see? So you want to tell me that app has more functions than the Stanbic app? I doubt. I think they didn't just optimize certain things.
let's try cheaper cash.
This is even larger.
Yeah, because
But cheaper has so many things. It has crypto, it has P2P, it has bill payment, it has investment on the stock exchange, it has virtual card. Does that app have all those?
yeah, it
It
has
does.
it has some of those. It has
Mm.
virtual cards. It has payments. It does not have stock. It does not have crypto.
Anyway, that's not something you guys can do anything about. So you work with what is there. What I want to, okay, they also respond to reviews, which is a
Really
good
bad.
thing.
Oh my God. It's good.
Their app is 2.5. That's low.
And currently, they have been having challenges where their card has been down for the past 2 weeks.
Okay,
Their virtual cards.
any other questions on USC? So you realize that it's easier to set up than even display and YouTube. Once you have, the only thing that will set you apart is the headline and description and the assets you use. Yeah, there is where she will beat him in terms of visibility, but also acquisition cost. If her keywords are optimized, she's going to get more visibility than him. And then the installations could come at a lesser cost than him. So while everything seems automated, the results may not be the same for everyone. Yeah. Okay, so let's get into search. Remember, same process. Now, performance marks, maybe I can mention briefly about performance marks. This is a URL. Let me just get to the assets. The targeting and all of that stuff is the same. To this URL. So performance marks is combining, you see how,
That's performance mark.
yes, you see how the Universal App campaign has combined search, display, YouTube under one campaign. Now, the difference between performance marks and Universal App campaign is that one is specifically targeting apps, while this one is performance marks that is combining the normal display, the normal YouTube, the normal search into one campaign. You get it? Eh? So here you can point people to a website, but then they come from search, they come from display, they come from YouTube. Yeah, so if you want to experiment with all the three, but you have one budget and you don't want to split, you're better off setting up a performance max. And then it will give you a little bit of kasav kayama, little bit of search, little bit of display, little bit of YouTube using the same budget. Instead of you getting a very small budget and you're splitting it, you're saying YouTube, display. So if your media plan has the three, have this, unless it has one or two, you know. Yeah. Okay. I hope there are no questions on that. Eh? What's her name? Any questions? You know, I scanned around and I saw someone who is there. Okay, so let's look at search. This, remember, we said we will skip, it's not relevant, and so is this. The ones you're going to use are search, performance marks, display, video, app. So we've looked at this, and this. We are looking at search now. Continue. So here you can have a search campaign that targets web visits, targets phone calls, targets app downloads. But remember, why would you pay for a click? You know, so here you'd set web visits and maybe phone call if that makes sense to your clients. Let's focus on web visits. Use the final URL, which is the landing page, not the home page. Campaign name, I'll leave it at the default, but you would use your naming convention there. Here, they're asking you, what do you want to focus on? Conversions, clicks, or impression share? Now, conversion, I'm sure we know. If you set up conversions, it would optimize your search campaign to deliver the same results. Clicks, we also know. Impression share is you want, if let's say 3 e-commerce brands are advertising at that point in time, you want a certain percentage of those impressions to come to yours. That is the other. But I would highly, highly recommend you don't do that. You go for clicks. Remember, if your interest is impressions, which ad campaign type is better? Yeah. No, the type.
Impressions?
Display. Yes, display. So you see how they are mixing these things to confuse you. But if you want impressions, do display or YouTube. If you want installations, do USC. If you want clicks, do display and search. Now you may ask, what's the difference between the clicks that are coming from search and the clicks that are coming from display? These ones are coming because someone has Googled for a keyword you've targeted, which means that they are a higher quality click than someone who is minding their business, reading a sports article, and your banner is there. So essentially, display is the social media-ish advertising for web, because you're targeting me by the interest, and then I'm scrolling through my website on the social media side, that is the feed, and then your ad is popping. So for campaigns that you really need high quality clicks and not necessarily brand awareness, always go for search. Like for example, CK, I don't know why you would go for um, display unless it's a free medical camp. If they're doing something that is paid, especially when it's a high ticket service, you rather go for search. Now, notice that as soon as we clicked continue, they are telling us include Google search partners, include Google display network. They want to take our money. Remove this, remove that. If I wanted display, I would set up display. You see? Yeah, so remove those. Search partners is basically you want your ads to show on other search engines that are not Google. But I know for a fact that we have so many people on Google that you don't want, the other guys. That's why we've unchecked that. Here, what they will do is to just get your word. You've seen campaigns or banners where it is only text, a white background and only text. That person did not remove this. They are getting the description and headline and just jumbling up a cabana, no colors, nothing. Yeah. Location and all of that is the same, like we saw earlier. While this has segments in terms of interest, etc., you can take a call if you want to narrow down the searches to people who are interested in those things. But it's not something that is important because you're going to have keyword targeting as the main thing. So you want your ads to show to me regardless of my interest, provided I've typed and Googled those keywords. If you say you are selling real estate and you targeted only people interested in real estate, I may not have visited real estate pages for Google to know I'm interested, but I'm now, Googling real estate. Someone wants to know, I want to buy, etc. It's quite rare that someone who is actively looking to buy may not have checked out other real estate pages, but it's also possible. So there is no reason why you should do affinity. Maybe demographics is what you could use. You want to maybe target people based on the demographic data, etc. But you see here also the limitations are quite many on what demographics are available because they know the keywords are the most important aspect. So another important thing that people miss is this. That after setting whatever interests you are putting here, do you want to target those interests or are you adding them as observation? The difference is here, if you select target, it's not going to show the ad outside what you've set. Observation is going to compare how your ads are performing for that target versus the broader target. So if you must use affinity and all of that, don't make a mistake of doing targeting here. Use observation. Then you set the date and all of that stuff, and you go to next. Here they are doing keyword and asset generation for you. They're asking you questions. Where should people go when they click your ad? Then what makes your products or services unique? This is a new feature. What they're trying to do is they're trying to understand your product and then they suggest things on the next step. I skip most of the time, but you can generate. Let's click generate. And then you see they've auto-populated for you keywords based on the landing page that you added. And then they've also auto-populated you some of the headlines and descriptions based on the campaign type you selected. What you can then do is to eliminate the ones that are not useful and add the ones that are. You may ask, how would I know the ones that are useful? What relevant keywords we can use? So there is a tool that is called, let me cancel this. So under tools, isn't it? Let me reload. Why isn't it opening? Okay, it had opened. Are you still following? Okay. So you can see there is a keyword planner here. It's a very useful tool even for search engine optimization, because it helps you to know what keywords people are using. So what you'd get is the URL. They have two ways for you to discover keywords. You can use a URL or link, or you can use a product category, and then they give you the keywords. Then there are two also options. You can search to see the volumes, how many people are Googling for these keywords over time in different locations. This is this. Or you want to discover the new keywords here. So here you need to paste all the keywords, but for you to get the keywords, you discover them here. So you can start with, this is what I do. Maybe I do
Telecommunications.
okay, telecommunications. But then since we're using mobile money, it would be digital payments, something like that. And I do maybe international. Oops. Money transfer. I do utility bill payments, as many as you want. Or you can start with a website where you will enter the URL and then they will crawl that website and get you the relevant keywords there. Here you can enter the site filter to, remove unrelated keywords, but better not to. It's better to manually do that. Then you get results. So you can see, let me zoom out. They've given you keywords that you can use for your search ads. These ones here. International one, utility, these are the ones that we send. We added it. So you can see here, keywords you provided, keyword ideas. So this is what people could search. And there are many. You can expand to show 500 per page. So you can see all these keywords are available. You see here, this we didn't enter, best way to send money overseas. What we did was to say there is an international money transfer service here. So you can see we said utility bills, but we didn't say water bills. So they will send you a series of keywords that you can download and then do a CSV. Let's give it time to download. Then now you open this CSV in your Excel. So what I always recommend people do once you open the Excel is to first delete these two so that you can have the titles at the top. Then these are not useful. These are your keywords here. The currency is not useful. Then filter by average monthly searches to start off with the ones that have the higher searches going down to the lower. So you're going to come here and you say sort largest to smallest. That is what? Descending, ascending. Creases. Yeah, it's so now you see they're giving us where we should prioritize. If we were doing search engine optimization, there is no reason why you're optimizing for a keyword that has 0 monthly searches. You would be wasting your time. So you filter and then global money transfer is one of the top ones. Digital e-wallets, international utility bill payments, send money. These are what people are Googling to find information. Now, this is what you then copy as your keywords, additional keywords. You can highlight and say all of these are relevant. Remove the irrelevant ones, highlight, copy, come back to your campaign. Remember, they suggested for you some. You'd have removed some that are not useful. You paste the ones that are. Now, there are controls that I would like to draw your attention to. Let me zoom in. There's a difference between a broad match keyword, a phrase match keyword, and an exact match keyword. I think I explained this last time, but I'm going to repeat. A broad match, let's look at the example. International, let's look at the top keyword here. Global money transfer. This one, the short person will use. Global money transfer. Global money transfer. So if it doesn't have any condition, let me take you back here. It means that I can Google global only and your ad will show. I can Google money only and your what will show. I can Google transfer only and your ad will show. So you see how you're blowing money. Now, if you look at this, even if you forget they are always here, the ones in quotations, phrase match, it matches the phrase. So if you added this, and it's very easy to do so, just on the keyword here down, in the keyword thing, you just come and add those conditions, like that. Hope you saw what I'm doing, destination money transfer. I've added those conditions. Then it means that it has to match maybe global transfer. That's when your ad shows. Money transfer. That's when your ad shows. So it has to be a combination of at least two or more. Now, the other condition is the brackets. These are, by the way, the brackets. What we call brackets are parentheses. This is the brackets. Now, brackets, you add these instead of these. Then it means that if I don't Google global money transfer as it is, it will not show. You've known the difference. So the first one is any. The second one is any two or more. The last one is it has to be exact. That's why you see they say exact match. Now that is where the comedy is for media buyers. Many of them are going to leave it broad. And then you go back and you realize you got all your clicks, like 70% from money. This is the person who says free money on the internet, free words, so you see the risk. Yeah, so very, very critical when you're doing such advertising to do those conditions. If you ignore that, trouble. Now, after that, what you're doing is adding your headlines and your descriptions here. And then the business name is already captured, but you can add it. You can add a logo. You can add site links. For example, you have sub pages that are relevant. That is the site link thing. Callouts are like key messages you want to appear on your search ad. The other thing I need to highlight is that you see for headlines, there is that thing here that's like a pin. Here, just look here where the keyword is. Oh no, I think zooming in is making it worse. So you see here, this pin, it's basically letting you choose if you want that description to show anywhere or at specific points in your ad. So the first one is it can show anywhere. Here you want it to be in position 1. Let's say the brand name, okay, let's say the campaign name, Wangula ne Centenary. And then you want that regardless of what other headline or description, Wangula ne Centenary should start. You would choose position 1. Then this is position 2, then position 3. So it's not recommended for you to pin complete your ad is, the more useful it becomes. If now you see of all the guys we've checked out, no one did some of these things. So they're not a good benchmark. I think what I will do the next time is to take a screenshot when I see a really good ad so that I can show it to people when I'm training. So here a guy sees the search ad and then they don't have to look for your number. They just see it there, tap, call you, and then you're sorted. So you've set up everything. Then the other things we see, you can add your app. You're not going to be paying, but it will show a call to action to install your app free. You get it, eh? So everything you can add, you add it there. There is ability to add the location. You can add the lead generation form, where after seeing your search ad, I tap on it, then you collect this information, get my phone number. You see what they give you? And you see pre-filled means that Google has that information already. I don't have to type it. So you can say, I want the name, either the full name or first and last name format. I want your phone number, your email. Then maybe I want to do age validation. Are you over maybe 18? Let's say I'm selling something for that category. So someone sees your search ad and then they submit and get the thank you. The ad appears like that. So after clicking learn more, they come here. Google will auto-populate these fields, and then for them, they will just click submit here. And then after clicking submit, you get the thank you. Okay, any questions? Especially those that I need to show you. You can see the warning has come. Any questions? So what makes search the most difficult? It is very easy for you to target the wrong keywords. It's very easy for you to target broad, where you should do phrase or exact. It's very easy for you to have keywords that are wrong. They are not going to offer you value. Writing good headlines and good descriptions seems simple, but then you have very few characters to communicate, especially for headlines, 15. So in 15 characters, you need to come up with a line that is going to sell. Because just like for video, a thumbnail will determine whether I want to click or not. For search, the headline will determine whether I want to click or not. Yeah, so those are important considerations. Then the other thing that is important, just like for universal app install campaign, monitor your keywords to see what is working, what's not working, pause what's not working, and keep what is working. So media buying, away from just placing the ad, has more to do with your ability to look at the data and then optimize that data for better impact. Yeah, yes?
So you are putting a URL and it was able to crawl and get the keywords. So I was imagining for search engine optimization, if you don't have a URL, how best can you be able to, develop your website with relevant keywords?
It's here where we use the keyword planner. You will discover keywords. You can discover with phrases. You don't, even if you don't have a website, you can actually get keywords. We would maybe say online food delivery or meals on wheels or home delivery for food. you give it samples for it to know what you want, and then you click get results. You notice I haven't used any URL or anything. So you can see this is what we provided. These are the additional keywords that it has given us. Then now you download them and then filter what you think works, delete what doesn't work. Then as you're setting up your campaign, or you can even do this by the way, when your end result is not a campaign, but rather search engine optimization. So you go and check your pages, your content to see if, that's why it's important to filter by the most popular so that you don't do everything, but you focus on the most impactful. Then further to that, let's say these are the top keywords we are looking at. The other thing on Keyword Planner was this, getting the search volumes. We'll just come and paste these and then get started. And then we are able to do whether we want Google only or search partners, better to add search partners. And you want to know search history, last month, last 12 months, last 24 months, whatever is available. Then you want to know that search history in any part of the world. If you're optimizing a search for Nairobi, you can maybe exclude if you so wish. But if you want to be more relevant, you can say, I want Kenya. Then they will show you how these keywords have performed over this period of time in that location. So this kind of helps you to identify what keywords are important that you should focus on and what are irrelevant. Yeah, both for your organic search, initiatives, but also for your search campaign. Yeah. Hope that's answered. Any other questions?
So mine is, so when you put in that the final URL, I've noticed that it generates quite a number of things and don't look from that. So is it like advisable to, besides the keywords, the other things, is it like advisable to switch some?
Yeah, it is. Because what it does, the things it has generated, it doesn't have enough data to work with to generate very relevant recommendations. Actually, for me, what I do is I skip that because I feel like I'm wasting more time reviewing and then editing than me creating from scratch what I think is going to work. So I would recommend, because there is an option to skip after, before you click. Okay? Once you click, you've clicked. But at the start, you can click skip, and then it will give you blank things for everything, and then you create your own. Yeah.
So in a case, I think it's similar to other instances sometimes where okay, for example, there is like let me use the cardiology campaign, but it's nowhere on the website. Like, there isn't so much information except for the landing page where you see the banner and post, but there isn't so much information that if somebody wanted to know about it, that's where they go. So in that case, what do you?
So the question is on what keywords you would use?
No, not the keywords when it comes to
the landing page.
Yeah, to the landing
You'd
page,
have
yeah.
to create a relevant landing page. Yeah, because what part of even the ranking of your ads is if the landing page is relevant or not. So as part of the approval process, Google is going to actually visit that website to confirm that what your ad is saying is actually what is on that website. So if they find a disconnect, then they will not approve your ads to begin with. But even if they do, your conversion rates are going to be higher if I've clicked a cardiology ad and I'm looking at cardiology information as opposed to the entire IHC care's information. Yeah. So in that case, you'd advise the client, if they're running a campaign, to have a specific landing page. But then also, for organic search purposes, any service offered by a company should have clear presence on their website. It must have a dedicated page if it's a key service and a lead generation form. Because then, even if I Googled, I need to have a very easy way after reading about the product to submit interest or to express interest. So part of the landing page that is called now funnels, website funnels. You need to make sure that you have call to actions everywhere, forms everywhere. You could have a floating WhatsApp, click to WhatsApp, button. Yeah, basically that is now conversion rate optimization. It's a different topic, but that's really it. How do you make sure that the landing page experience, the app, etc., are optimized for conversion? Yes.
So if you're not buying ads,
Mm.
you can still go through the same process to optimize for the organic search. You
No,
can go through
only getting the keywords.
just
After
the-
this, after getting the keywords, you go back to wherever your site is, whether it's a WordPress, whether it is, then you now edit your content with these keywords in mind. Yeah. So it's just really for keyword discovery if you're looking at organic. Because the question people have, so I'm selling this, but what are people Googling? So what that it does that question, it answers that question. Yes?
So aside from the website, because I know when you're doing search, it doesn't only look at websites. You can do the same even for if you have an online shop, like on a Facebook shopping or Instagram, you can do the similar thing.
They're not as out there as the website. The only thing that comes close is the App Store side and your Google My Business location. If you're looking at Facebook, yes, it could index, but then Facebook algorithms restrict the crawling by Google because the competition there is I want to keep my information to myself so that you don't use it to monetize. So they will have some few pointers here and there, but if you really want to get the full benefit of either paid search or organic search, you're better off having a website. That's one of the reasons why uh, I can justify a website for a client. I tell them, look, you cannot only have pages, not every client, obviously, but those that really need to. Organically, a website will get you value from search. Then you can also run certain ad campaign types that require a URL, without which you can't run, like search. Then I wouldn't recommend you set up a search campaign that takes the person to your client's Instagram. Buy Instagram ads instead of Safari. Yeah.
You mentioned something about the other search platforms that are not a browser. For example, app stores. How do you get to index such platforms? There was a time we were trying to search for online streaming apps, and we noticed your TV is indexed immediately. But how do you get there when it comes to that?
Your TV, the app, not the website.
That was.
It's
if I'm in
this,
Play Store or the Apple App Store, how do I index the app so it appears with the keywords?
So there is this, the description you add. All of this is done in the Play Store consoles. But then also they ask you what keywords and categories your app is. So if the person spends time to select the correct information, it gives them an edge. So the developer has that view. They can change these images, they can change the keywords, they can change the description, they can change the support information here, etc.
So it's not a paid ad, it's more.
Unless they are running a paid ad and it shows, because the USC would show there
show
in the app store. Yeah. But if it's not a paid, but it will show that this is an ad. It doesn't come off as an organic. Yeah. But if it's organic, then they would have done their indexing on the Play Store, right? So you see now, the same way you would optimize keywords in your website content, even here, these keywords need to make sense. They need to be relevant. You don't just go on and on about your product without the SEO consideration. Okay, any other questions? I hope the silence means everything has been okay and not you lost me at the start. So with that, we come to the end of Google. I know it's kind of accelerated, but the best way to learn some of these things is to try them. You can risk a small budget, even as an individual. You see, the thing we always forget is that for anything, whether it is personal development, a business, if you don't expense, you're not going to get a return. So you can even set aside like a small $10 to set up, not client money, your own money. I know that's a hard call, but we did some of these things when we were earning salaries of 600K. You set aside like a small portion of just to experiment. If you have a client's budget, you can set aside a small budget to kind of experiment before you blow the entire budget, and then you see the results. It's called A/B testing. Test, test, test. Then now you scale. Yeah. Okay. I think I shouldn't go beyond this. One, my battery is running out, but also the information overload. So when we come next time, we are going to do X, Facebook, LinkedIn in one day. Why? They are very basic, really. This is where the work is. I'm starting tutoring on sorry, that's CIA, man. You sign up
You're mine. Or that's mine.
data man.
That's a lie.
So 6th September. So that means that we must use these 2 Saturdays. So I hope we can start on time on 24th so that we do X, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And then the next Saturday we can do. I'm guessing. I don't know. It will depend on you guys. We may need to throw in an additional hour because I want to touch a little bit about analysis as well. Oh, 9. How come? Oh, okay. No, it's 6th. How can these guys be starting on 6th? Because my things are Saturday.
You're level 4?
I'm tutoring level 4. Other new papers haven't been adopted for higher levels, but once they do, then I'll start those ones as well. So essentially, we have 2 more Saturdays to go. We need to start on time so that we cover as much ground as possible. So I think for Facebook, X, and LinkedIn buying, I will use an hour.